Okay. So I can see Bill and Dawn. You guys are muted too. So can you give me a thumbs up? I can just kind of go by your reaction. You give me a thumbs up. Okay, everyone's good. Okay, I can see the Godfather and Mark. Okay. All right, here we go. Lots of notes, please. We're going to go through a bunch of information. This is something that I learned very, very early in my network marketing career. And this has literally been the cornerstone of me being able to grow my Javita business. As many of you guys know, when I was in my older company, I was there 12 and a half years. Whoops. Oh, I just annotated that. That's weird. Let's see here. Let me just delete that. Clear. Oh, there we go. Wow, I didn't even know I could do that. All right. I just drew a heart for Dawn. See? All right. So anyways, so you guys know that I was with another company for 12 and a half years. Believe it or not, when I actually came over to Javita, I actually came over and built from scratch organically. Okay. And so as you guys know, normally if you're with the company for 12 years, you're not building organically. You're trying to bring a lot of people over with you. But my brother stayed with my former company. So I ended up saying, you know what, I'm just going to go and build organically. But because I had a list and because I knew how to go through a list and create a list, I was able to do it. And so that's kind of what I'm going to teach you. It's just about changing your perspective. You're still going to have to do the work, right? So, but I think if you are more confident and know why you're doing certain things, you can just kind of go through the numbers and go through your list effectively, okay? So we're going to go through that training. All right, so first thing we do, making your list. First thing you want to do is you want to make a list on paper. You want to make a list on paper. Professionals have lists, amateurs do not. So it was always told to me, if you want to make professional money, you got to have a list. And if you want to make professional money, you got to do what the professionals do. Because in order to make professional money, you better have the word professional before your title. And that's what really separates everybody, no matter what industry, no matter what hobby, no matter what you love to do for fun or what. If you are a professional, no matter what you do, you make professional money. So we want to make sure that you make a list. So I always have a list. My list, I'm always adding on to my list, okay? The other thing is we don't want to prejudge anyone. We want to put everybody down. And I know it's easy to do that, but I guarantee you, if you look at your phone, you don't have everybody on your phone on your list. Now, granted, if some of them are your 97-year-old grandmother, yeah, I would still put her on the list because you don't know if she could be a customer, right? And I'm going to teach you kind of how to do these things, but everyone needs to be on a list because I truly believe that we don't have the right to prejudge anyone. And basically prejudging stands for being prejudiced. So you don't want to be prejudiced over other people. You and I, and I'm going to just speak directly to you, is you don't have the right to say this is not for me. It doesn't matter my age, my race, my experience, my financial status, what you think I like and don't like. You don't have the right to judge for me. So that's why we really need to make a list. The reason why some of you run out of people to talk to is because you've prejudged subconsciously. You don't put them down. They've either been into too many network marketing companies. They've been in network marketing before. They're currently in a company. They already make too much money. They wouldn't ever do this. All those things run into your mind, and that's why you actually subconsciously do not put everybody on the list, okay? Number 3 is that you always want to continue to add people on your list. Anytime you meet anyone, they should go on the bottom of your list. Understand, when you make a list, it's not for you to get them in the business the next day. If you just meet them, they go on your list because ultimately what I want to teach you is how to connect with people. Our business, as you know, people follow people. People don't really follow businesses because I'm saying this in the most loving way ever, but when certain leaders in our company left, certain people followed them. And the people that followed them, what they're following them to may not necessarily be the best business decision, but they follow people, right? So understand, people follow people. So it's really about connecting with people and building relationships, right? So the reason we create our list is point number 4, because our job is to eventually take them off the list. So whether they become a customer, a member, or whether they give you a referral, that's the only time you end up taking them off of your list. And I'm going to teach you some things on follow-up that will really help you. And, you know, it's so funny because you can just say word follow-up, but there's actually some perspectives and some verbiage that you can use to make it more effective, okay? So dividing your list up. Am I going to teach you tonight how to divide your list? Well, number 1, once you create your list, we want a lot of people on there. So I want you to ask yourself this question, and you can write it at the top of your paper. If you want to make $5,000 or more in Javita, you need to have a list of 75 people. If you want to make $10,000, you got to have 150. So for every $5,000 you want to make, you have to have 75 people. That'll get you off to a really great start, okay? So obviously, as you guys know, I wanted to make 10 grand when I came into Javita. Not because I needed 10 grand to pay all my bills, but because I've been in the industry long enough, and you guys know, you don't want to be feast or famine and rely on everything that comes in every single month. You want to have some buffer, right? So maybe it takes $7,000 to pay your bills. You probably want to make 10 because you don't want the bad months to dictate your lifestyle, right? So I said to myself, I want to make 10 grand a month. So I knew that I needed to have a list of over 150 people. That's why I invited 89 people to my first Java party, okay? And I just went through my list and did it, okay? So the reason we're going to create the list, once it's created, we're going to divide your list up. Now, why do we divide it? Because not every shoe fits the same person. Not every shoe fits the same person, which means not every way you invite, not every way you peak, not every way you talk about Javita should be the same with every single person. For example, if my friend Mark is a successful business owner, I'm going to talk to him differently than if the Godfather is my uncle who's known me since I was a kid, right? The respect and everything is different. So we're going to divide your list, and I'm going to teach you how to divide it, which will then help you make your calls and all that other stuff. Okay, so that's why I'm going to teach you how to divide your list up. Number 2, it helps create more impact based on the person. See, if I say a certain thing to Mark, who's a successful businessman, the impact will be different than what I say to my uncle, who's known me all my life. Or if or let's say Mark is a good friend of mine, and him and I have been friends for 40 years, he's seen me do some of the stupidest things in the world. Mark's not going to take me as serious as, say, the Godfather, who maybe has only seen me do successful things in business. Does that make sense? Right? So you want to help because it's going to help create more impact based on the person. Number 3, it gets you out of the way. It gets you out of the way, which that's the number 1 problem that most people have is when they call their list, they are the message, not the messenger. And if Mark has seen me run around with a lampshade on my head and drunk all the time and beats my wife, and I've been through 5 marriages, and I try to talk to him about a business, obviously he's going to look at the business opportunity through the filter of Kimon. And he doesn't like Kimon in that capacity, so immediately he starts to prejudge, immediately he starts to make assumptions, right? So it helps get you out of the way based on what you say to them. And the last part, it moves them through the process faster, meaning you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong one. I would consider myself a professional in network marketing. I think Bill and Don the same. I think you guys would agree. I can pretty much talk to anyone, and I can pretty much say it the right way, and I still have people who think this is a pyramid. I still have people tell me no. I still have people not show up. I still have people flake on me, right? So you have to understand it's not you. Unfortunately, so many of us are so self-centered that we think that everything that happens in our life is because of us, and it's not. It's truly not. You can only do and control what you can do, okay? So I'm going to teach you tonight how to move them through the process faster, okay? So our thing is that, and you guys would probably agree that the hardest part for you is to get them to look, get them to see, get them to taste. But if you had a superpower and you could take 100 people on your list and magically make them show up at a meeting, ask yourself this question based on the meetings you've done before in the past. If 100 of your friends sat in a room and you had a way of getting them there, true or not, 20 to 30% of them would probably either become a customer or join the business, almost guaranteed, because once you see Javita, once you taste Javita, once you know what Javita is, true or not, your perspective and your assumption completely changes about what it is, right? The tough part for us is getting them there, right? Getting them to look, getting them to taste it. Why? Because network marketing has become a very, very viable source of income that every professional and successful business person is now talking about. Why do you think the network marketing is growing so fast? Why do you think so many network marketing companies are being developed? Because they realize word of mouth, distribution is a viable source of income. People are making big, big money. But the problem is that because so many people are coming in, they're being brought in by amateurs, and everyone talks the same way. So when you've been approached by 10 people that are amateurs that are not going to be with the company more than a year before they're off to their next gig, you can see why your friends and family, if you talk to them a certain way, why they're rejecting you so much, right? I'll give you a prime example. I met a lady today. I was buying a new dress shirt, and she said, hey, one of your ladies wanted us to meet before. And I go, where do I know you? She goes, I work at the clothing store now part-time, but I also cut hair. You came into the salon, and I cut your hair. I said, oh my gosh, that's right. She said, the girl that was trying to get me involved with you was selling coffee. Is that right? I said, yes. She said, I think she's not doing that no more because she came in last week and now she's selling this whitening toothpaste. And she rolled her eyes and said, every time this lady comes in, she's doing something different. Well, see, none of our friends and family want to be an experiment of our success. And you guys know that persistency and consistency creates reputation. So we're going to try to get you to move this list through faster, okay? So here's your list. You're going to get everyone on your list, and you're going to label everyone on your list A's, B's, and C's, okay? A's, B's, and C's. You're going to take that big old list, 75 people, 150 people. You're going to go down and label them A's, B's, and C's next to their name. A's are hot market. You have very, very low credibility with hot market people. Hot market people, the definition are family and close friends. So if the Godfather is one of my uncles, or he's been a family friend and seen me forever, then he's a hot market, but I have very low credibility when it comes to the business with the Godfather. Same thing with Mark. If Mark's been a friend of mine, we've been close friends, we've gone to Vegas together, we partied together, him and Kathy come over to our house, they see our kids, they know us intimately, they know where I live, what kind of car I drive. Mark is hot market. Mark, I have low credibility with A's. B's are what I call warm market. Your credibility actually increases by 50% for warm market people. Warm market people are the ones that know you, but they don't know you intimately. So let me give you an example. Every single one of you on this line tonight is a B to me, meaning, Mark, you know me. You know about me, you know about Javita, but Mark, you and Kathy don't really know me, right? You don't know me intimately. You don't know what I love, my hobbies are, what I love to eat. Like, you don't know me intimately, but you know who Kimon Lee is, but not intimately. So my credibility with you is actually 50% higher than if the Godfather was my uncle in business. Does that make sense? So B's are warm market, and then C's you have the highest credibility with C's. And there are new people that you meet and cold market. And now here's what I mean by cold market. Have you ever been to church and the same greeter greets you, knows you by face, but doesn't know your name? Or do you have people that you frequently go into stores, buy things, owners that you frequently see them, they know you by face, they say hi to you, but they don't know your name or they don't know intimately about you. And even some that are cold market know your name, but know nothing about you. C's are the greatest people to start with because your credibility is so high, because for all I know, Mark Geiser could literally own 13 McDonald's. And if Mark calls me and talks to me the right way, I will probably react positively because I don't know who Mark is or what he's doing. Does that make sense? So C's, you have really high credibility. Let me tell you why most of you are failing to impact your list. Because you only talk to A's, you rarely talk to B's, and you never talk to C's. And the first 10 or 15 or 20 people you talk to, most people, when they get 5 or 10 no's consecutively, they literally stop calling their list because emotionally they are completely distraught. And because our brains are wired to protect us, you guys would agree the feeling you have when you start getting a bunch of no's, people telling you it's a pyramid, people telling you're stupid, no one makes money, I can't believe, Mark, you're doing one of these, right? Wouldn't you guys agree that our emotional status goes way, 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 way down, right? That's why I encourage you guys to read a book. It's called Emotional EQ. And it's basically, I thought I had it here. It's basically a book by Dr. Travis Bradberry, and it's called Emotional Intelligence. And this is unbelievable. Let me tell you about this emotional intelligence. Your IQ, which is your intellect, your IQ, yep, it's right there. Bill has it on his screen if you can see it. Your IQ is completely set at the age of 14. It's your ability to learn. Your emotional intelligence can go up anytime, no matter what age. I don't care if you're in your 60s or 70s or 80s, your emotional EQ can always rise. This is a crazy statistic, is what the book says. After all these studies, okay? For every 1% your emotional EQ goes up, your annual salary goes up by $1,200 per year. For every 1 point. You know, you want to know who has really high emotional EQ? Mark Zuckerberg, the Apple CEOs, all these young entrepreneurs that are multimillionaires already, that started all these startup companies, who never graduated high school. See, their IQ means nothing. Every successful billionaire has a very, very high EQ, emotional intelligence. It's your ability to process your feelings. Because people with high EQ, they don't care if Mark Geiser tells me to my face, you're a pyramid, I can't believe you're doing this. I go to the next person with just as much enthusiasm. The person with low EQ is going to get that same feedback and stop, if not quit, because I cannot take it. I cannot take it. Mark said I was a stupid, right? So I want you to get that book and I want you to read it because it will help increase your EQ. And when your EQ goes up, your income goes up alongside of it. And you guys will be fascinated with that book. It's unbelievable. Okay? So A, B's, and C's, I want you to take your list and itemize A's, B's, and C's. Okay? That's what I want you to do. Now, what do you say to an A? What do you say to an A? Now, this is a little bit of a script that I use. Hold on one second. Annotate, clear all drawings. I have no idea why that keeps popping up. But, okay. So this is the A. So what do you say to an A? Now, this is just a little script that I use. You know, you don't have to say it exactly like this, but ultimately, you know, this will kind of give you an idea of some wording. But what I say to an A is simply this. If I'm going to use, oh my gosh, why does that keep doing that? I'm going to use Mark, since I can see you. I'm going to use you as my friend. So instead of saying John, I'm going to say Mark, okay? So I'm going to teach you what I say on these. That way you can, you guys can understand where I'm coming from when I say this. So if I'm talking to Mark, and Mark is an A. Now remember, he's a close friend, really hot market. Because he knows me, I would say something like this. Hey, Mark, I just had something really exciting fall into my lap. I'm looking for a couple people to help me on this project, and I'm not sure if you are open to another stream of income or extra money, whichever one. I like to say extra stream of income. I also like to say diversify your income. Now, why do I say that? Because if Mark is a business owner and I tell him about another business, I don't want him to think that he has to quit his other business to do my business. Does that make sense? So you want to say, hey, I just had something. Now, if you notice, I'm telling them, hey, I just had something really exciting fall into my lap. I'm not the message, I'm the messenger, right? And then where the part that really helps is when you say, I'm not sure if you're open, which sets them up so that they want to tell you no, you weren't really asking, right? So if they say, yeah, I am. What are you talking about? What are you doing? And then I say, are you open to getting some information on the expansion? Or are you open to getting some information on the project I'm working on? Now, if they say yes, then we're going to send them a quick video, or I would suggest you get them on a 3-way call to get them out of the way, okay? So the very bottom, if you look at that, it says, if I would you. Here's how this sounds. Hey, Mark, I just had something really exciting fall into my lap. I'm just looking for a couple people to help me on this new project. I'm not really sure if you're open to like an extra stream of income. Mark, you say, yeah, okay, what is it? I say, okay, so are you open to getting some information on this project? Yes, perfect. If I sent you a very quick video on some of the details, would you watch it? If I would you, and you say, yes, I would, then perfect, I send you the video, okay? That's how I would do with the A's. The number one thing you want to do with the A's is you want to just get them the information, let them say no. So if you say, if you want to say it's weight loss coffee, they would say weight loss coffee. You say, yeah, I'm going to send you a video on the science behind our coffee. So if you're going to take notes and you're going to ever send the burning control video, always set up the video by saying, Mark, I'm going to send you a short video on the science behind our coffee. So if I sent you a very short video on the science behind our coffee, would you watch it? If they say, oh, I don't know if I would, say, great, then I won't send it. Right? See, I give you, you give me. Right? I've had people, I say, hey, Mark, if I sent you a short video on the science behind our coffee, would you watch it? I've had people literally tell me, well, I don't know if I'll get a chance to. I'm pretty busy. I say, you know what? Never mind. Then I won't send it. I mean, it's like touche, because here's the one thing. Sometimes people say things to you, not because they want to know or they don't believe. They're saying it to test your belief. They're just saying something to test your belief. And when you show posture like that, they flip a switch just like that and be like, okay, I tell you what, yeah, go ahead and send it then. If I would you. Does that make sense? So now that's what I say to A's. So now watch as we go to B's and C's how this script starts to evolve differently, okay? So that's A's. Here's B's. What do you say to a B that's on your list? Now the B's, they're warm market. Again, you guys are all B's to me. You don't know me intimately. Number two, you don't know what I really do for work, right? You know me, but you don't know me. And my credibility with you has just increased by 50%. So here's how this works. Hey, Mark, I'm calling up Mark. Hey, Mark, I'm working on a new project. Okay, now if you notice, this didn't fall into my lap now. I am literally working on a new project here in Pennsylvania. I'm looking for some people to help me expand. Because I initiated the project, I'm looking for people to help me expand. Are you open to diversifying your income outside of what you're currently doing? Are you open? Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm always looking to make extra money. Perfect. If I sent you a very short video presentation on the details of what we're doing, would you watch it, Mark? And Mark says, yes, I would. Perfect. Then I follow up with this. When can I follow up with you tomorrow? When can I follow up with you tomorrow? Mark says 3 o'clock tomorrow works great. I say, perfect. Watch the video. 3 o'clock, I will call you on the dot to get some feedback from you. Mark says, okay. Now here's the key. If you're gonna write anything down, you need to write this script down because it's not here. Whenever you follow up, after you send them the Javita party video or my 18-minute, I created an 18-minute webinar presentation that I'm going to send all of you. Okay, I'm going to post it on the Java Superstars. I'm going to post it there. It's my 18-minute video. I send it to everyone. It's me doing a verbal webinar with the slides, 18 minutes condensed, real quick. They can watch over their phone, on YouTube, whatever. Okay. If you send a long a presentation of the company and our opportunity, if you ever send that to someone, the whole thing, this needs to be your follow-up verbatim. Okay, here's how it goes. Hey, Mark, did you get a chance to review the information? Hey, Mark, did you get a chance to review the information? Mark says, I did. I say, great. What caught your attention? The products, the opportunity, or both? Now, if Mark says, oh man, the weight loss coffee, that's crazy, I drink coffee, then you would know how to do that, right? You would know how to gear them. Okay, that's perfect. We ship it for free, $24 a box. You can, blah, blah, blah. You can send them to the dollarcoffeeclub.com, your website. You don't really need your upline or anyone else support to get them as a customer. But if they say both and the opportunity, immediately you want to get them on a 3-way call, okay? With myself or Bill and Don. You could even do it with Sherry, right? But I want you to get them on a 3-way call, okay? And when you get them on a 3-way call, all you need to do to know that we're on a 3-way call, if I ever, and I'm going to teach your downlines this too, but if you ever get on a 3-way call with me, to edify me, you don't need to say all the great things I've done. All you need to say is Mr. Lee, and it automatically elevates my credibility to you and them. Does that make sense to you guys? Right? Because if I say Mark, if I'm introducing the Godfather to Mark, and I go, oh, Uncle Godfather, hey, this is my friend Mark. The Godfather looks at Mark as my equal. But if I introduce the Godfather or Bill and say, this is Mr. Geyser, Bill automatically knows that I look up and I respect and I elevate Mark to a different level. Now, Mark is going to be way more effective when talking to Bill. Okay? So when you follow up, you always, and the reason why I'm telling you this follow up, because if I call up Mark and say, hey, Mark, what'd you think? It opens up for negativity, right? But if I call up Mark and say, hey, Mark, did you get a chance to review the information? And Mark says, yeah, I did. I say, great. What caught your attention? Well, if I say, what caught your attention? He's not going to say it's a pyramid scheme, right? He's not going to say, oh, I'm not into those. He's going to answer the question, which is, what caught your attention? And if he says the products, I'm going to agree. If he talks about the business, I'm going to be excited and agree. I'm going to tell him how ground level it is. And I'm going to say, you know what, Mark? I really need to get you on the phone with my business partner. And I want each and every one of you moving forward to never, ever, ever refer to me or Bill as your upline or anything like that. I don't like to talk and act like a network marketer. For all I care, each and every one of you on this line tonight is my business partner. Okay? So we're going to refer to each other as business partners. It gives us more credibility with each other. Okay? So that's what you would say to a B. Now let's go to the C's. Your credibility is at a maximum right now. Because I know you by face. I say hi to you when you walk into church. I say hi to you when you come to the gas station. I don't know anything about you. I don't know anything about you. So now if you notice the script now, it's completely altered. So now I say, hey, Mark, I'm now leading. See, does that make sense? Because my credibility is so high with you. If I call you up, Mark, and I say, hey, Mark, I'm leading the expansion of a huge opportunity in Pennsylvania. Business is booming and I'm looking for some help. Are you open to making some extra money? Are you open to diversify your income? See, now I have a backbone where some people put their wishbone. My backbone. Because remember, people follow people with strength. And if I don't even know you, Mark, but I see you walk in every day at church, or I see you at the gas station, or I see you at the grocery store, and you walk up to me, and the reason this works so good is because every single person on your list, regardless of income, is looking for another stream of income, is looking to diversify. Let me tell you why I know that 100%. Because Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player on the planet. He makes plenty of money. But guess what? He's open to diversify. You know why I know? Because he sells underwear. He's a spokesman for Fruit of the Loom. He markets underwear. Oh my gosh. He's open to another stream of income. If the price is right and the opportunity is perfect and it makes sense, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Would you not agree? Because the numbers were right, the opportunity was right, the timing was right, and he said, you know what? I will sell Fruit of the Loom. I'm the greatest basketball player on the planet. I will still sell underwear. Because the timing was right, the opportunity was right, the money was right. See, if you can get that in your head, that you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person, but you just got to say it the right way with the right perspective. Let me tell you why. Because I'm going to teach you how to build this business like a business person, not as a network marketer. And I'm not ashamed about being a network marketer, but here's what I do know. The advantage that I have is that if I can get you to sit down, I've already won. Because in the beginning of this presentation, I said the hardest part for all of us, we probably all agreed, is that we can't get them to sit down. We can't get them to look because it sounds like network marketing. They automatically assume, they don't know if Mark is selling doTERRA, Amway, knives, vacuum cleaners. They don't know if Mark's selling a wrap or candles, but they don't want to find out because it sounds like everybody else, right? So when you approach them, and if Mark is a C, and I call Mark and say this, it's going to be more effective. But guess what? You're at a high credibility with C's. So when you create your list, you're going to look at A, B's, and C's. You are going to target B's and C's. You're going to target B's and C's. Your number one focus is to send them the information, follow up, and if they love it, great. If they don't, great, move on next. But the way you're going to tell them is you're going to do the if I would you. Okay? If I would you. And then you're going to get them on a three-way call. Because if you send them that, they like it, then you get them on a three-way call and they like it, The third base, which we have this baseball diamond, which that's the next training that you'll get on a video. But once you get them to base number 3 before they come home plate, 80% of the people you get to third base will probably join the business or become customers if they get to third base. But true or not, you're going to win more games if you can get more people on base. And if you can get people on base, guys, you will win games, okay? And if you have them listed as Bs, A, Bs, and Cs, you know you want to work with the credibility, where you have the most credibility and you can get them through the process. And to get them through the process, you have to have credibility, right? The A's you still have credibility with, but you just need to approach them differently, okay? So that's what you would say to A's, B's, and C's. So to recap, you need to create a physical list, and then you're going to put them down and label them A's, B's, and C's on every single name, okay? And then we're going to go through and make these calls, okay? Now, here's your goal. You want to try to connect with 10 people a week. And here's what I'm going to tell you. You are going to suck the first week. But give yourself enough grace to be bad. Give yourself enough grace to learn the process. Give yourself enough grace to know that you have to be really bad before you're good. You have to be good before you become great. You have to be great until you become phenomenal. And then you got to become phenomenal until you become Bill Ball, right? So you got to go through the process. But the problem is that most of us are not willing to give ourselves enough grace to be bad first. We want to plant the seed and pick the fruit tomorrow. And if we can't, then it's not working for us. If we can't, the seed is defective. If we can't, the soil is bad. If we can't, it wasn't meant to be. And that's not fair to you. So give yourself grace that the first week you do this, you're going to be horrible. Okay? But what I want us to do is I want you to call me or Bill at the end of the first week, and I want us to reflect and say, okay, is there anything you could have learned from those 10 calls you did this week? Is there anything you could have learned? And then we make an adjustment. And then the next week you become better. Okay? Your other goal is to try to get me on 10 three-way calls. Now you might say to yourself, wow, Kimon, we have 20 people on the line. 10 three-way calls from each of us would be a lot for you. Yeah. And to whom much is given, much is expected. That's from the Bible. And the other thing I know is this. I would much rather do 50 three-way calls sitting at home than 3 one-on-ones running around town at Starbucks. Because we know that we can't say the wrong thing to the right person. And if every single one of you were connecting with 40 people a month, you were three-waying 40 people a month, connecting with 40 people a month, I know for a fact that 30% would either become customers or join the business. Okay? That's 12 people a month. Let me ask you something right now. If you enrolled 12 people this month personally, how on fire would you be? How excited would you be? See, you won't look at the 40 people, you'll just look at the 12. See, you won't look at the 120 no's, you'll look at the 12 yeses. See, this is about just changing your mindset and looking at it as a professional and knowing that you got to make a big deposit if you want to make a big withdrawal. See, you can't withdraw $100 out of your savings account if you only put in 40. See, too many people are not willing to make the big deposit. The big deposit is doing connecting with 10 people a week. The big deposit is making 10 three-way calls. That's the big deposit. Because here's what I do know. 16 years. I do know that if you make a big deposit, you can take a big withdrawal. So ask yourself, how much of a deposit have you already made? See, some of us, we can look back at our 6 months, 3 months and say, wow, I really haven't made a deposit yet. Now I know why I can't really make a withdrawal, right? But everything is learnable and the beautiful about network marketing is today could be your first day. And I am here to support you, run with you, lock arms with you, and help you because here's what I do know. Anytime you want something that someone already has, All you have to do is do what they're doing. And I am doing this every day. So I've already enrolled one person this month. I'm getting ready to enroll 4 more this month, simply based on how I talk to people, put them on my list, and follow up. Okay? Now I'm going to teach you something about follow up, and I want you to write this down. So you're going to continue to add to your list, and then you're probably thinking, when do I take them off my list? Here's what I want you to do. When you get to the point, you do a 3-way call, you shared the product, you've done all this stuff, and they're just not ready. They said, you know what, Mark, the timing is just not good for me right now. Here's what I want you to say on the follow-up, because the fortune is in the follow-up. There was a book written by Grant Cardone called 10X. And he states that in 10X, he says that 80 to 85% of all salespeople never follow up. And 80% of all sales that are closed on the books and successful, 80% of all successful deals done happen on the 5th follow-up. The 5th follow-up. So what does that say? Fortune is in the follow-up. So here's what I want you guys to do. Anytime someone tells you no to the opportunity or the product, they say no, that's okay. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to basically say this. Hey, Mark, do you mind if I follow up with you in 6 months? Maybe some things have changed. Would you be okay if I followed up with you in 6 months? I will promise you this, 100% of the people will say yes. 100% of the people will say yes. And then here's what you do. You have a calendar, and on your calendar, you go 6 months on the date, and you put follow up with Mark Geiser, timing bad. And then 6 months from now, you call up Mark, and this is how you say it. Hey, Mark, this is Kimon. I'm following up with you like I said I would. Now you're creating the integrity piece, right? You're doing what you said you were going to do. Mark says, yeah, Kimon, the timing is still bad. I follow up with saying, hey, Mark, would you mind if I followed up with you again in 3 months? And Mark says, okay. You realize that I've had people join my business not because the timing got better, but because they were so impressed that I did what I said I was going to do. And 6 months later, 9 months later, I'm still involved, pumping away. They're like, oh my gosh, you are really serious about this. Is it really going that good? You know what? You got my attention, man. You are like professional. Wow, you are not joking around. Okay, I tell you what, Mark, let's sit down. I really want to look at it now. Because, wow, you really seem like you're serious about this. How many people have you not followed up with? They've told you no. They said, I don't know, let me think about it. But you got busy. You got distracted. How many people have you not followed up with? That someone ends up following up with them 6 months from now, and they go, you know what? My buddy Mark actually gave me some coffee. I've heard of Javita, but Mark's never followed up with me, so let me take a look at it. Do you know how many people you could potentially be losing because you don't follow up correctly? And they're your warm market, right? They're your B's and C's that you met, but you did not follow up with them. Okay? So you got to play the numbers. I also want you to enjoy the process. Don't worry about the outcome. So write this down. I am going to fall in love with the process, not the outcome. See, you can't control what people do, but you can control what you do. And if you go through the numbers, the round pegs will fall in the round holes and the square pegs will fall in the square peg holes. Here's what I believe. God brings you the people that are supposed to be in your business. Number 2, God brings you the right people at the right time when you're ready. See, if I gave you my business today and I gave you all my leaders today and I told you go ahead and do this, you lead them. The question is if Andrea Gebhardt gave you her entire business, could you lead those people? Could you coach those people? Could you do those things to help support and mentor and take that $3 million business she has and exponentially compound it? Could you do it? If the answer is no, then you don't want God to bring you a superstar right now. Because a superstar would come in and leave just as fast because you wouldn't be able to lead them. See, I told Bill this. I love the fact that we all get to work together because I believe that God has prepared me for what he has prepared for me to lead some of you. And I know I can lead you. I know I can take you to another direction. I know I can increase your business 10x because I've been doing it for so long. So I want you guys to enjoy the process of you getting better because we're going to be making deposits. We're going to be playing the numbers so that you can make a deposit so that you can take a big withdrawal and become a supervisor, a manager, and director. And you can make director withdrawals because you made director deposits. See, that's what I want to help you become. And I want you to continue to get better. Know that you're going to be bad. You're going to be bad. Mark, you're going to be bad. I already know you're going to be bad. But guess what? Next week, Mark, you're going to get better. And the Godfather, you're going to get even better next week and the next week. And then you're going to be so good that you're going to be able to close people at a higher ratio. And then we're going to follow up until they look you dead in the eye, Mark. And they say, do not call me ever again about Javita, ever, 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 ever. Take them off. But nobody will ever say that. Nobody will ever say that. Okay? And the last slide. I love this from the Bible. It says, and let us not grow weary of doing good. For in due season, we will reap if we do not give up. Now, when the Bible tells you that, that means what he is preparing you for, he has prepared for you. He knows that the trials and tribulations and the uncomfortableness, we all know that everything grows when you're uncomfortable. So all of this is in preparation for the thousands of people you will lead. And you have to understand one thing, if anything, tonight, is that the things you are going through today are not for you. They are for the people that you will lead, because you can't get someone through something you have never been through yourself. Because if you talk to 10 people and 10 people came in and those 10 people all became diamonds and you became a crown diamond off of first 10 people, the question is this: how do you relate? How do you coach? How do you help Kimon that's gotten 51 no's in a row? You don't. You don't. You don't know how to coach me. You don't know what to say to me. You don't know how to sympathize with me. You don't know how to put your arm around me and walk me through this. See, that's the beauty of this, is that when we fill our cup, we fill our bottle. It's not because we're filling our bottle. It's that we're filling our bottle so that we can dump it out into someone's cup. And then we fill our bottle again so we can dump it out into someone's cup. If you never fill your bottle, you have nothing to give. So you are going to go through the process. You're going to fall in love with the process, and you're not going to worry about the results, because you can't say the wrong thing to the right person and you can't say the right thing to the wrong ones. The only thing you can do is you can say it the right way. And if we can say it the right way from a different perspective, from a different standpoint, we will get them to sit down. We will get them to look at the information, and then the right people will come in, because there will be people that you will say the right thing. They will look at it and they will call you back and say, wow, that's pretty amazing. I didn't think that really caught my attention. Okay, yes, I'd like to find out more information. See, what I want them to do is say no to a video first instead of saying no to you. Until your skin gets big enough and strong enough and thick enough, lean on us. Lean on us. Let me talk to them. And the more three-way calls you do, one of the things you're going to notice is that people, no matter stature, financial backing, or experience, they all ask the same questions. And every time you're on a three-way call listening, you're learning what to say. See, that's the beauty of this business, right? You just learn from the people that are already doing it, okay? So with that being said, that is it. I'm gonna, hold on one second. Let me just stop this recording, and then I'm gonna open up the meeting for any